Hi everybody, it's Win, and welcome to another video by the Entropy System. Today's topic was suggested and voted upon by our patrons. If you're interested in becoming a patron and shaping the content of our channel, a link to our Patreon is in the description below. Today we're going to be talking about the baby. For those of you who are new to the channel or who just don't know, there is a baby in the headspace. There are some things that we know about the baby, like its origins and its gender, thanks to Jonathan, but just about everything else is speculation, and I'll be sharing some of those speculations with you today. The one thing we know about the baby, thanks to Jonathan, is that it came to be about the same time that he did. And thanks to that, we're able to sort of pinpoint when Jonathan started to have a sense of identity. Jonathan identifies as coming to be when the body was in infancy, and the baby, thanks to comparing how it looks in the inner world to Google image searches of 1-month-old baby, 2-month-old baby, 3-month-old baby, we were able to determine that the baby looks to be developmentally about 4 months old. I've had people comment and ask, well, if alters can't be formed before trauma, how were Jonathan and the baby formed at 4 months old? And I'm just like, put 2 and 2 together, my friends. From there, we get questions that we can't quite answer, like, is the baby an alter? We don't really know what to call the baby. We know it's not an NPC, because NPCs have to be constructed. They are an imaginary construct in the headspace to sort of fill things out and make the world feel more real, but there is no doubt that they are imaginary, that they're not connected to our very real existences. If we collectively decided that we didn't want NPCs anymore, they would vanish. The alters would not, and the baby would not. But what does the baby do? Really, it only sleeps. It just sleeps. It doesn't cry, it doesn't eat, it doesn't poop, it doesn't do all those baby things. The baby just sleeps very peacefully and very happy. I'm actually right this second being told by Jacob that it coos sometimes, so it does make noise, but no crying or anything like that. It's never fronted to our knowledge. I don't know what would happen if the baby fronted. I know that there are other systems with infant alters, and those alters front, and just like any child alter, the way an infant alter manifests is going to be different for different systems and may not always align with how an infant in the outer world, like with an infant body, may act and be developed. But that aside, because our baby has never fronted that we know of, we have no idea what that would look like for us. Right now, the baby is being taken care of by Jonathan and Jacob. They have a little area of their apartment that's dedicated to the baby. We know the baby is female, and so we've decorated that area with pink and happy colors, which I know, gender normativity, but that's what we decided to do, and that's what feels right for our baby. For a time, the baby was taken care of by Lido as a way to help him adjust to being a part of the system. But once Lido felt comfortable and started feeling like a part of the system and feeling accepted by the rest of us, then the baby was given back to Jonathan and Jacob, who now take care of it together. When telling my therapist about the baby, she had sort of a hypothesis that all systems have a baby, and that only when the whole system feels like truly and wholly safe does the baby get brought forward and is known and can be seen and understood by all the alters. In a way that makes sense for us, everybody in the system sort of introduced themselves to me around the same time, specifically because Jonathan decided that it was safe enough for me, Win, to know that I was a part of a system. So that kind of fits, but I don't know how that fits with other systems. Another question we've had about the baby is that the core? Was the baby like the original and then we all split off? And we actually have a video where Daniel talks about what like original and core and how we think of all that. And maybe, but honestly, it's not something we give a lot of thought to, whether the baby is the core or one of the cores, because that doesn't change the legitimacy of like my experience and the rest of ours experience. Some people, some systems, and some singlets get really into the idea of like, who's the original? Because like that feels, they want to grasp something familiar, and if they can grasp onto like an original or a core where everybody else split off, that's, you know, that original is more real somehow, just because that's what's familiar and that's what's normal in society. But we're all very, very real, and all of our experiences are very, very real, and it doesn't matter if we've existed for decades or if, like Leto, we've existed for a very short amount of years. All of us are real and legitimate. So whether the baby came first or I Win came first or we were developed at the same time or I came later, whatever, that's not something that I put a lot of thought into, just because it doesn't matter to me at all. Does the baby age? No, not that we've seen. It's just maintained its 4-month appearance for basically ever. But that's about all we know about the baby. And all we can guess about the baby. I guess no is a pretty hard fact. The only thing we like know is what Jonathan tells us, which is the baby and him were formed alongside one another. That's all I know for a fact. And then the rest of it is just guesses, just educated guesses and observations. I don't know how satisfying this video was to watch, because it doesn't give a lot of information, just a lot of hemming and hawing and me asking the same questions that you all ask and not having really solid answers to it. But you guys wanted to know what we knew and what we thought about the baby, so that's what I did. This is gonna be the last Educational Monday video before the end of the month, so this is your last reminder that we are closing our Redbubble shop at the end of May and going exclusively to Teespring for our merchandise. We got our Pride Heart shirt back. Teespring, we were finally able to contact Teespring and say, hey, I don't know why you took this down for copyright violation, but please, please give us our Pride Heart back. And they did, hooray! So the Pride Heart is now available in the Teespring shop, which makes me feel so much better and more confident with closing the Redbubble shop, because all the designs that we love are now in our Teespring shop. So please go check that out. It's very exciting. I'm gonna start ordering shirts and wearing them here so you can see just how great they look. And yeah, I think that's all the announcements at the end of the video that I have to give. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember that you are loved, you are valuable, and you are valid. Bye. Hi everybody, it's Win. I want to take this opportunity to give a huge thank you shout out to Shoshi Bauer and Lily Andrews and all of our other patrons for helping support this channel and making what we do possible. If you are interested in becoming a patron, a link to our Patreon is in the description below. If you are interested in sending us fan mail of any kind, our P.O. Box address is also in the description below. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!